Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to Sports Time HQ. I'm your host, Fernando. Joining me today is my great co-host, Gary. Gary, how you doing today?
I'm doing good,
Oh,
Freddie. I'm excited to talk because we obviously weren't able to come on here on Sunday, but there was some good football played this weekend, so I'm ready to talk about it.
yeah, it's been a week. It's been a week, but hey, we got ourselves at least my team. We got ourselves to 10-0. First team to be 10-0 this season, or 10-0. Sorry, 10 wins.
Let's try.
One can only hope. One can only hope for
Yeah,
10
no,
for 10 wins.
they're playing good recently, or I guess just this season they've been playing really good.
Yeah. How about the Browns? How you feeling with those Browns? Those Brownies. Shador getting his first win, first time
Hey,
on. How many quarterbacks has it been until they got finally their first debut start win?
the last 17 Browns quarterbacks have lost on their starting debut, so maybe he's the one. I don't know, but also. Browns, when I think it was 25 games without having 17 plus offensive points, that streak was also shattered this Sunday because they had 3 touchdowns.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
My goodness.
We'll see.
Well, I'll let you know that the music right now, I can hear the music in the background. The issue is, I'm going to take a picture of it because it's
Can't turn it off.
hilarious. I can't turn it off. I only see us two in a little box,
Yeah.
and everything else on the Chrome screen is black.
Mm-hmm.
So I might have to switch to Safari um, for some strange reasons. So you get started on the news and notes while
Sure.
I reset my Chrome.
Sure. No worries.
All right, take it away.
All right. So, first little bit of news and notes that we have here today is that former Saints wide receiver Brandon Cooks is signing with the Buffalo Bills. I mean, I don't know how big of a move this is going to be, but I think the Bills kind of need all the wide receiver help that they can get, and you know whether or not you're a big believer in Brandon Cooks is wide receiver help, it's definitely another body in that room that is an experienced veteran. Had some good years with the Patriots, Rams, and of course, like I said, the Saints. So again, I don't know how much he's going to contribute to the Buffalo Bills if he even plays that much, but they are definitely thin at the wide receiver position, not necessarily due to injury, but just they don't really have great names there. So yeah, maybe Josh Allen. He's known for making something out of nothing. So we'll see if Brandon Cooks can be a contributor to this team.
You are very true. He can make things, out of nothing. Brandon Cooks definitely could be a key part of this offense. I mean, they kind of need some depth in the wide receiver role because it's kind of where they're lacking in the last couple seasons, anyways. Doesn't look like Keon Coleman has really been the guy. Shakir, maybe. Don Kincaid, maybe. Um, Hopefully, Brandon Cooks can add some type. I know he's up there in age, like you said, he's old, but it still can't go wrong. The Bills need something. They need some help because the
Mhm.
team doesn't look like a Super Bowl contending team right now.
Definitely not. I honestly don't think they're that great, and I probably would pick them to get first rounded if they look like this going into
Really?
the playoffs.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also can't. I can't say I could disagree. Must
Mhm.
say. Panther safety Trayvon Mooring has been suspended without pay by the NFL for one game due to the unsportsmanlike conduct when he received the hit with Jawan Jennings below the belt. I like how you put
Yeah.
that as the
Did you see
note.
that?
I did. I very much did. I think it's definitely not surprising that he got the suspension. I'd say. Um, I don't think Jawan Jennings didn't hit back, right?
No, he didn't. According to Mooring, Jawan Jennings was doing dirty stuff all game, so that's kind of like was his retaliation, I guess. I'll be totally honest with you. Outside of that, and like the last Actually, no, I really didn't even. Outside of that play, I really didn't watch the game at all. I watched maybe, I think, like the last 2 minutes of the third quarter. I checked in just to like see what was going on, but I
Mhm.
heard that the game was awful. I saw Purdy had 3 picks.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I mean, at the moment, none of my fantasy games were reliant on that game, so I was just like, I don't even really care about this game at all. So I didn't bother watching it, but I did see that play, and so yeah, it's kind of just something that I threw in there because it's obviously not something that you see every day. Um, he punched him definitely below the belt, and yeah, he's suspended for a game without pay.
Yeah. I think the NFL is cracking down on. I mean, we saw it last week with the 1 game suspension already. I think with Jamar Chase. So,
Yeah,
or not Jamar Chase, but yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, it's good that the NFL is cracking down, but it also hurts in fantasy if fantasy players either go down or get suspended for
Hmm.
these mistakes that they cause themselves.
Yeah.
Shador Sanders, we kind of already touched on, but he has been named the Browns starting quarterback for this week's home game against the 49ers. Uh, Gary, your initial reactions?
Hey, how much of that game did you watch? That's all I gotta ask you.
I don't need to watch a game that Shador's
No,
playing.
well, no, no. I'm just wondering. Did you watch any of it or no? And
No,
if you
not
did,
that game.
listen. If you didn't, I totally understand. Browns versus the Raiders at the end of the day. Um,
Mm,
no, that game is probably the most watched Browns game of this year, maybe the last couple of years. I will say, it was great. I mean, he didn't, you know, look like a superstar. Didn't look
mhm.
bad. I thought it was a good game for him. He only threw 20 times, had the bad pick, but I don't know if you saw the play where he absolutely uncorked the ball 50 yards downfield to Isaiah
I
Bond.
did see
That,
that one.
that's the stuff that we've been looking for. That's honestly the best throw that I've seen a Browns quarterback make since Baker was here. So that's really all I needed to see. I love the fact that, he's actually showing NFL traits, unlike Dylan Gabriel. He's, a couple inches taller. He's got a better arm. I don't know if you remember,
Sure.
a lot of people were saying that he like has this weak arm, but I don't know. Like I never liked that take because I just saw him uncork a ball 50 yards downfield on the money, and his accuracy obviously is great. So I'm excited. I'm actually going to be going to the game this weekend
Okay.
in Cleveland, so I will be there for his first home start, and hopefully he can treat us to a win because I would absolutely love to see that.
It'd be your first time actually witnessing a Browns win.
That's exactly right. Yep, I'm 0-2, and that's no surprise when you're a Browns fan.
And no surprise whatsoever. Speaking of no surprise, Raiders offensive coordinator Chip Kelly has been fired after the loss this past week. Uh, Raiders quarterback coach Greg Olson is being named the team's new offensive coordinator. Gary, I don't know about you, but I feel like I completely didn't even know that Greg Olson went back to coaching.
It's actually not the Greg Olson. It's
Oh,
not him.
okay.
That's
So
not
I
him.
am right. I am right. I am
Yeah,
right.
you're right.
I was just gonna be like, what? I was like, Greg
No,
Olson.
no,
First of all, out of all the coaches, a QV coach too. I was like, that's not your
no,
position.
no. It's not. He's still doing broadcasting. I don't know if it's on CBS or Fox, but he still does
Yeah.
commentary and stuff. But yeah, it's not him. It's a different Greg Olson. I actually had to look it up because I was myself wondering if it was him, but it is not. This guy apparently, again, I have no idea who it is, but he's been their quarterbacks coach and he's had the offensive coordinator position 3 separate times. I believe his first stint was in 2013-14, so he's been around for a little while. But yeah, I mean, as much as I loved having Chip Kelly at OSU for that 1 year, last year we won the national championship. It's a different game. The NFL is a different game, so it's kind of crazy to see an offense. I get it. Geno Smith is not good in my opinion, but in the Raiders' offensive line is piss poor. But you got Ashton Genty, you got Brock Bowers. It's not like you had nobody. I think
Yeah.
there are definitely some. You had Jacoby Myers for half of the season. I think he could have done some things a little bit better with that offense. But no surprise, just sitting here at 2-9 with one of the worst offenses in the league. So totally understandable. Although I think that he shouldn't be the only one gone there because they're bad all around. The defense sucks, and Pete Carroll, I think, honestly, might be, or I don't know if he should be out, but he might be out.
I mean, I would agree with you. I think Pete Carroll could be out. Again, I don't see him being out this season. Maybe the off season we might see that, but other than that, I'd find it hard to believe that he's going to be fired during the season. Giants fired defensive coordinator Shane Bowen yesterday morning. This is also the outside linebackers coach is now a new job, Charlie Bolin. He's been named the defensive coordinator. So, I mean, you're seeing these guys getting a chance to do something. I mean, this is opportunities for them to try and move into the future, moving on up, you could say, in a way, to try and get your name more out there and finally get a better position if that's what they want.
Yeah, it's really obviously the big thing with interim head coaches is can they, in the 4 or 5 weeks that they get the job, can they maybe show some improvements? If not, I mean, they've been that position coach for so long that they'll just probably go right back to being that position coach. If they are able to improve, that they get the job, or maybe they'll be looked at for a coordinator job somewhere else. So yeah, it's definitely a big step for Charlie Bullen. I know he's obviously going to hopefully try to get that promotion there or somewhere else, like I had mentioned. But I have no idea who he is. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know who Shane Bowen was either before he got canned. To be totally honest with you,
I'll agree with you on that as well.
I feel like the Giants' defensive line coming into this year was supposed to be one of the best, and it probably still is one of the best defensive lines in all of football. But the defensive unit as a whole just has really not been good at all. So it doesn't really surprise me that he got fired.
Yeah, again, when they just don't, when it's not working out, there needs to be changes, and clearly this is the change that needs to be done. And who knows? Maybe we'll see the Giants defense start to look a little bit better. It's kind of usually how it works whenever there's a firing.
Yeah.
So, Gary, any more news or notes?
No, I went looking for a while, but I couldn't find anything else. So,
well, let's then get into some of the injury report. Okay, of course, for anyone who has been in here, who's watching, you know the deal. We go through every single position one by one, and then basically name the biggest injury in that position that we want to talk about. So let's get into it. Joe Burrow, again, and something to monitor this week in practice, still on IR, but he had a very good chance to play this past week, so expect him for Thanksgiving. Speaking of, it is Thanksgiving week.
It is crazy.
That's exciting.
It is very exciting.
I guess maybe we should add a little background to the little YouTube border. A little Thanksgiving gobble gobble.
This guy's always on top of it.
I'm always on top of it. I'm always on top of it. I can't do it, unfortunately, on TikTok. I wish I could, but I think my Surface Pro would literally crash if I tried doing anything else but the bare minimum. Also, maybe add a little background to that. Not that I want to keep the background like this.
That's pretty cool.
But I just wanted to show a little background to it. But anyways, let's move on. CJ Stroud, concussion. Again, that's something to monitor this week. Who knows? Maybe Davis Mills, he'll be back in it and be ready to go if CJ Stroud needs to miss time again this week. Jaden Daniels, again, dealing with that elbow injury. Still don't know when he's going to come back. I'm guessing because they didn't put him on IR. They want him back within the next couple of weeks. Marcus Mariota, of course, would be the starter if he has to keep missing. Jackson Dart still in concussion protocol. I think he should be ready to go, though, this upcoming week. But let me just say, Jameis Winston, balling. What a baller he's been. Oh, I think he was like almost QB1, if not QB1 this week.
Unbelievable.
Aaron Rodgers dealing with that wrist injury. Again, we mentioned he did not need surgery. Mason Rudolph played. Again, we might see Aaron Rodgers this week. I'm sure he wants to get back on the field. Michael Penix, again, being out for the season. Kirk Cousins will be the starter. Didn't do so bad. I thought maybe the Falcons were going to lose that game to the Saints. Turns out Falcons won. Thank goodness I didn't change last second survivor pick to the Saints because I would have been eliminated. Baker Mayfield dealing with a shoulder injury, low grade sprain. Again, could play this week. Baker Mayfield and the Bucks maybe looking like frauds. And then, unfortunately, my god tier quarterback, JJ McCarthy, in concussion protocol. Hopefully, he gets healthy, but the status is up in the air this week. Usually, what we see is with concussion protocols, they usually do not play the following week. Big one out of all these, I think, is Joe Burrow, possibly coming back for Thanksgiving.
Oh, it's not JJ McCarthy?
You know the saddest thing in the world, and I'll mention it because my good friend Karina told me to mention it. I'm in 12 leagues. I lost 10 leagues this week. In a couple of leagues, I had some injuries. In a couple of leagues, I had some bye weeks for quarterback. Who was available? JJ McCarthy.
JJ McCarthy.
I doubled down, tripled down. I always am downing on my god tier quarterback. Unfortunately,
how'd that work out for you?
Unfortunately, 0.35 points ain't gonna win you a week in the quarterback slot position.
I don't think so.
I will say I had to swallow that pill this week, and I don't know. I think this might just have to be a lost season for JJ McCarthy. He needs to figure something out in the off season. It has not looked good. I will admit it has not looked good for JJ McCarthy. I hope that somehow he can work on it. I don't know if he's still not fully 100%, and maybe that's the problem. I don't know, but it's not looking too good. He could be out of a job next year, early next year.
I try to tell you, man, he's not a good player, but listen, you took it and ran with it, so it's all good. But yeah, I mean, I guess obviously the biggest one here would be Joe Burrow. It would be nice to have him back, especially for all the teams that need their quarterback back for the playoffs. They're good everywhere else, and maybe even they are okay at quarterback. But obviously, we all know when Joe Burrow is fully healthy and at the top of his game, he is a top 5 quarterback plus fantasy quarterback in the game. So it would be nice to really have him back, especially because it's nice that he's coming back. We're in week 13, right? So week 15 is playoffs. So have him have 2 games. Hopefully he can get into kind of a rhythm, and then by his 3rd game back, that's when playoff starts, and maybe he can already be in a groove. Because sometimes it kind of sucks your first game back. It's not always the easiest. Of course, playing the Ravens, right? So their defense is not good. So he might already be okay and get rolling early. But if there are a couple hiccups, get him out of the way now. Get him out of the week. Get him out of the way next week. Week 15 is when it starts, so it would be nice to have him back.
Yeah, I got offered a trade actually for him, but this isn't a 1 quarterback league, and I despise trading for quarterbacks in 1 quarterback leagues, especially because I have Bo Nix, and he's, I think, top 5, top 6 quarterback. So, but again, if I didn't have a top 5, even top 7 quarterback, I'd probably do the trade because, Joe Burrow is a different type of category for quarterbacks when you look at it. And he's a guy that can always easily put up QB1 weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
For the running backs, Marion Hampton, again, his 21-day window has been open. When will he return? Could be this week. Could be not. So again, just monitor him at practice. Isaiah Pacheco, sprained MCL, should play, but there's a possible chance he doesn't play. Kareem Hunt would be the starter, and Kareem Hunt balled out. So that's, again, something to monitor, that they don't need to necessarily rush Pacheco back. And Bucky Irving plans to practice all week. I really hope he doesn't, so in that way Sean Tucker or Rashad White fantasy owners can have one more week, just stretch that one more week with their backups. But I think the big one is both Marion Hampton and Bucky Irving. I mean, both of them are starters, and when they come back, they will be starters again for their respective teams. And they put up fantasy points each and every week. And I know fantasy managers who have them, if they have both on the same team, brutal. And you'd like them back as soon as possible. So I'm in for Morgan Hampton from mainly because I want to see what he can do when he comes back from this ankle injury.
Yeah, Coach Harbaugh said that the 21-day window was open, so he's starting to really get back now, and hopefully he can come back sooner rather than later. Isaiah Pacheco, I think he's going to play. I saw that the Chiefs expect him to play, so I think he probably will play. But I agree with you, Kareem Hunt's been absolutely balling. So as a Kareem Hunt owner, I love having him in my flex. I hope, not necessarily rooting for Isaiah Pacheco to stay out, but kind of rooting for him to stay out. Bucky Irving, yeah, you need him back. I've been saying
I also agree.
How many weeks now, man? Like we've been saying it, he's a second round pick. He needs
just
to
put
get
him on
back out
IR.
there.
Could have just been put him on IR.
Could have just been put on IR.
Wasted everyone's fantasy seasons with him on the bench.
Yeah, it sucks because he was doing so good when he was playing too. But injuries happen obviously. But yeah, you would like to have him on IR so you could just pick up another player. But he is apparently, according to reports, going to practice all week. So that's a great sign. You assume that with a full week of practice, he will play next week. But again, it's nothing set in stone. So just keep an eye out on that.
Yeah, very, very. So, again, these are guys you got to monitor because they are guys that you would start if they come back and are healthy. For the wide receiver position, Terry McLaurin dealing with that quad injury. Just shut him down for the season, please. By the way, I did drop him last week. I was over it. I'm over it. I'm just over.
Who else are you gonna pick up that's better?
I picked up someone else that was better than him. I can't recall.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did. You're telling me, you're giving me false hope with this guy. This guy's just, he's gonna come back this week. Out. Oh, he's gonna come back this week. Out. He's not gonna travel with the team to Spain. Out. I mean, I'm over it.
Once again, he's probably gonna sit at your wide receiver 5 if he's out. So who are you picking up that's better than that at your wide receiver 5?
I think I'm on like 4 wins on the season. So
it's okay, so it doesn't even matter.
I needed someone that can win now. He's not winning.
At 3 wins, you're already out.
I'm not eliminated yet. Sleeper hasn't given me the minus sign.
Okay. Well, I saw Dan Quinn is excited and optimistic about possibly McLaurin coming back. So we will see.
It's about time. Drake London dealing with that back injury considered week to week, and they want to be cautious with him, especially if they don't necessarily make the playoffs. Don't want to re-injure your star player. Brian Thomas dealing with that ankle injury, expected to return this week. Again, it could be a lingering ankle injury. We've seen it in the past. So again, monitor him at practice. He could re-aggravate it. But again, something to monitor. Calvin Ridley, we've already mentioned, out for the year. Marvin Harrison, no status update at the moment. Again, just monitor this week on his illness from what they're saying this is. And then T. Higgins, concussion, he will be out for Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, so that T. Higgins one's obviously a big one because him and Jamar Chase always eat against the Ravens. Those AFC North offensive showdowns, especially if Joe Burrow's back, then that's a huge loss for him. So expect Jamar Chase to just go absolutely berserk like he usually does against the Ravens. Marvin Harrison Jr. is still dealing with that appendicitis. I have been looking everywhere for an update for him, and all I'm seeing is that there isn't one. So unfortunate, but definitely positives for other guys that are in that room that we will probably talk about in a few moments.
Yeah. T. Higgins is a brutal one, though, I will say for myself. I mean, especially if Joe Burrow comes back, having T. Higgins and Jamar Chase would be ideal. Again, he's just going to have to play without T. Higgins, but again, they have the wide receiver one, Jamar. Yeah. As they chase the wins. Tight ends, Don Kincaid, again, he's got a hamstring injury. Monitor this week. I know he was week to week with that hammy, but it looks like it's been improving. So all signs point to maybe we could see a possible return from him this week. If not, definitely next week.
Yeah, I think he's the only tight end that is worth noting has an injury. I don't know. I could be wrong, but
Yeah, I think you'd be right around that, just about. Before we get into the waivers, just got a couple questions on TikTok. For Edgar, Krosky Merritt, or Ramondre Stevenson, who would you rather have for maybe rest of the season? Both brutal options, but I would go with Krosky Merritt, given that I would want to say Travion Henderson has won himself the job.
I also want to say that, however, did you watch the whole Pats game?
Some of it.
How exactly do you have like 6 to 8 plays from the 1 yard line and you don't give it to Travion Henderson once?
I agree with that take. That take I do agree with.
That drive was awful at the end. I think they went for it on 4th down. I don't remember if they tried to like sneak it with Hunter Henry or like Mac Jones. Drake May kept it. I don't remember
Mac
exactly
Daddy
what
Jones?
it was. I don't know why. I don't know why I just thought of Mac Jones. I don't know if I don't remember if they snuck it to Henry or kept it with Drake May, but they went for it on 4th and 1, and they had like 6 opportunities from the 1 yard line. They gave it to Terrell Jennings twice, Ramondre Stevenson like 2 or 3 times, and then Hunter Henry rushed it, and Drake May kept it once. So it's like 7 plays from the 1 yard line. You don't give it to Travion Henderson once. That is
Brutal.
absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Brutal.
So I also want to say that he won himself the starting job, but I don't know. With all that being said, I am going to agree. I will go with JCM.
Well, I tell you, fantasy managers were definitely mad. Travion
I
Henderson
was
not getting the
pissed.
ball.
I was pissed.
You
I mean,
must have. I know you started him, and I know I did too.
Didn't matter. I lost by 90 because I have Wan'Dale Robinson going for 30
by
points against
90.
me. Let me tell you why. Wan'Dale Robinson going for 30 points against me. I have Jahmyr Gibbs going for 54 points against me. Emmanuel Wilson going for 25 points against me. And Parker Washington going for 20 points against me. In the week that I got forced to start David Montgomery with 5 points. I got Baker, who left the game early with 6 points. Emeka Egbuka lost his QB1 Baker, so he only finished with 6 points. I mean, it was just a terrible week. But with all that being said, I am pretty much officially eliminated from playoff contention. So it was a great way to go out.
I would want to say that anyone who has Jahmyr Gibbs basically won their week. But I will say I am the outlier who had Jahmyr Gibbs and lost.
Wow. Really?
I will say, due to that possible loss, it may have been due since Brent Strange was on my IR, and I didn't realize that he came back. And let me see. I'm trying to see if I can pull up quickly. It was in our Devi League, I believe. Yeah, it was in our Devi League. I lost by 6 points. Actually, it was actually a close call, but I am in 10th place in that league. But I will want to say if Brent Strange, if I noticed he was starting, I would have won because Terrence Ferguson was my tight end. Also, if I somehow didn't start JJ McCarthy as my quarterback, also could have possibly won. By the way, I'm struggling in that league because Davis Mills is my other quarterback, and I have no other quarterback in that league. Just FYI.
Well, if you want either Rodgers or Cam Ward, feel free to shoot me an offer.
I'll pass on Cam Ward.
Cool. Well, I can't help you.
Real estate: Kyren Williams, Troy Franklin, Jameson Williams at the flex. I would probably pick Kyren.
Yeah, I would also pick Kyren.
Drew, Kyren, and Vontae for JT and QJ. Who's Vontae?
Devontae Adams or Smith?
That's my guess. I would think Devontae Adams or Devonta Smith. But if it's Devontae...
The way he spelled it, I don't know. The way he spelled it, it's like a mix of two. Because it looks like Devontae Smith spelling, but he ends it with an E, and Devontae Smith ends it with an A. So I don't know. I think it's going to be Devontae Smith. I think that's actually who he's talking about.
I would pick the Kyren and Devontae side.
I might go with JT, honestly. I mean, he's just been the best player in fantasy, so.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, I
I
like
think
both
you're
sides. I like both sides. Devontae Smith's actually been balling recently, which is kind of
one
crazy.
side upgrades wide receiver, the other one upgrades running back.
Yeah,
So it's kind of more on who you want.
honestly, I think it's a win-win for both teams, or just equal for both teams, in my opinion. So I actually like both sides. If I had to pick one, I'd probably give it to the JT side, just because he's the best player in fantasy probably right now. So
I technically would agree with that. I think Devontae is also top 10. I think he's made into the top 10.
Smith,
Is it? No, I was talking about Devontae Adams.
I think it's Devontae Smith that he's talking about.
If it is
Um,
Devonta Smith, then I'll go JT side.
okay, yeah, I think it is Devontae Smith, but yeah, Devontae Adams, he's been balling, man. I actually think
Yeah.
he's been in
He's
the
getting
top
closer
10
to
wide
that Puka
receivers.
Nakua bold
He's wide
prediction.
receiver 6 right now. Puka's what? RB or wide receiver 4 or 5?
It's getting close.
4, dude. Hey, no matter what, even if it ends like this close, like I will take that as a dub. I don't care.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though
Uh,
Puka missed a couple games due to injury, but still.
True. On YouTube, Galaxy Pickers, would you trade RJ Harvey for Trey Benson and Kenneth Gainwell?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
No.
I'm not a big believer in Trey Benson, to be honest with you. And I mean, Kenneth Gainwell has like a 20+ point game once every 5 games. So if you want to guess and get lucky for that 1 week that he goes for 20+, be my guess. But I don't think it's really worth it, in my opinion.
I think RJ Harvey has more upside, and also he's got a
Yeah,
very favorable matchup against Washington this week. So
yeah,
I would take Harvey as well.
yeah. Me too.
All right, let's get into the waiver wire. Of course, this is the waiver wire show. So, what more importantly, to talk about guys that you should be picking up in your fantasy leagues. Let's start off with Week 13 quarterbacks, and I'll start with my guy, which I've mentioned in recent weeks now, and he has just been balling. Jacoby Brissett is my guy, which I'm surprised I'm still talking about. He's not over 70% owned. He's 51% owned. The man just put up just shy of 19 points. I mentioned he was going to put around 19 points. He put 18.68. I mean, you can come at me for not being correct and being off by 32 points, but hey, just put JJ McCarthy's stats and you could have got 19 points. I mean, there's not much else to say about him. I keep saying every single week. I mean, this was his worst week as a starter, and this was 18 plus points. That's not bad for a quarterback that you're looking to plug in and play. You can still easily get him. I think Brissett's a must start each and every week. I mean, he's putting the fantasy points you want to see, and when a guy's being like that and he's being consistent, it's noted that he needs to be started.
Yeah, he's doing really good recently. He's spreading the ball out. I think that's the biggest thing. Is he? I feel like Kyler loved just dumping it down like 10 times a game to Trey McBride, and everybody else would get like 4 targets. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
good luck with those 4 targets. Whatever you did with them, then you did with them. But this guy, Jacoby Brissett, I mean, we know him as a gunslinger, so we're not really surprised. He's like in that Jameis category. He's way more protecting of the ball than Jameis, but he's a gunslinger. He likes to move it around a lot. So I like Jacoby Brissett. He's, like I said, getting it to multiple different receivers. So I'll talk about one a little bit later, but Michael Wilson has been phenomenal recently. Trey McBride, he's been obviously putting up tight end 1 numbers, and even Greg Dortch has been very involved in this offense. So I really like what I'm seeing from Jacoby Brissett.
He could be a fantasy league winner. I'm gonna be honest.
It's possible. I mean, if
Kyler Murray
plays,
gets shut down for the season.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. If he gets shut down for the season and continues to put up 18+ points a week, then it's definitely possible. Because if you have, I don't know, Jaden Daniels or
Yeah.
I don't know, anybody else that maybe you're in a big league and you have Michael Penix or Baker isn't able to go within the next couple of weeks, then that's definitely a guy that you could pick up, plug and play, and still get production from. So I could definitely see that.
Gary, who I'm intrigued because this is a guy who was a former first round pick, former number one overall pick. And, he's a guy that I have absolutely so much hate for, but starting to earn a little bit more respect in recent weeks.
Well, I mean, if you know me, you know I don't like him either. I don't like the
And
team
the fact that
either.
you're talking about him.
It's Trevor Lawrence. I really just went with him because he's playing the Titans, to be totally honest with you. They give up the 10th most
Mm.
points, fantasy points to quarterbacks. The last couple of weeks, he hasn't been great, but last week he faced a solid Cardinals defense. I mean, they're actually pretty good this year. And he put up a 20-point week. So I'm, not I'm not saying he's a must start, but if Brissett's gone and, there's no better option, which I don't really think there are because on my waiver
No,
wires, there really
there is
aren't
not.
great options right now. I think Trevor Lawrence isn't a bad one. He's sitting there at 43% owned, so he's out there in a lot of leagues. I think you can give him a look. Like I said, if you have guys that aren't playing this week, I think him and Brissett are probably the top two options. I would put Brissett and then a little bit of a drop off to Lawrence. But, he's still talented as much as I don't like him. And he put up 20 last week, so I could easily see him. I could see him easily doing it again this week against Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, with a very favorable matchup, I don't disagree with you. I think this is he could easily do it. And you mentioned Brent Strange and everything. You mentioned the receivers. Sure, Brian Thomas could be back this week. If he's not
Yep,
back,
that too.
if Brian Thomas isn't back, I still don't think it's going to be a problem for Trevor Lawrence. I
Mm-hmm.
think the biggest thing is he loves throwing to his tight ends, and now that he has his
Yeah.
tight end one back, I think it's going to help him a lot. And I could easily see him putting up a decent week again this upcoming week.
For sure.
Trevor Lawrence and of course Jacoby Brissett, our top two waiver wire quarterbacks of the week. Going into our running backs, Gary mentioned him last week. Gary wants to mention him one more time this week. Gary, take it away.
Well, again, there are not many great options here,
No,
especially looking at your guy. I mean, I know you hated putting this guy as your guy because Jesus.
I didn't want
But
to take your guy. He would have been my running back one of the week, but I didn't want to
yeah,
take your guy.
I mean, he's in there at 68%. So I just maybe when you looked, he was at 70. But for me, he was at 68%. Just snuck in there. It's Emmanuel Wilson. I mean, as long as Jacobs is out, he's a must start for me. I hope everybody listened to him when I said to get him last week. It was an obvious handcuff, but there was a big percentage of leagues that he was still out there for when I mentioned him. And obviously he produced greatly when he was in there this week.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I faced him this week. He beat me up 26.5 points this week. The only minus to this upcoming week is that he's going up against the Lions, who are the second toughest defense to RBs, but I would still have him as a start at the very least. At the very least, I would have him as a flex, but I think you could have him as a good RB too.
Yeah, if it wasn't for it, I mean, I'm actually surprised he's that high owned, to be honest. But the same, because usually when they go in and start the following week, like they're not usually going up that high. But yeah, again, he would be my RB1 of the week, so I can't disagree with you. I think he is a solid start. If he is RB1 this week again, I think he's a must start. I'm gonna go with my guy, and like you said, I don't know how enjoyable I liked putting this guy in, but it is Devin Neal. I actually I was like, all right, Alvin Kamara's injured. He's dealing with that MCL injury, MCL sprain. I was like, maybe Kendra Miller, and then I forgot. I was like, wait a minute, Kendra Miller, the guy that I was still hoping that he would maybe have a bounce back and come back. He's out for the year. So who else? Devin Neal. He actually produced well in Kamara's absence. He had 7 targets, 5 receptions, 43 yards. So you'd think he's a receiver, but he is getting the receiving side of the ball. So that is also good to see. 7 attempts, 18 yards. It doesn't sound that great, but yards per carry, it's not the worst thing in the world. Again, if Kamara has to miss time, he is the lead back. Now, here's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. Taysom Hill.
This clown.
The worst nightmare that you could possibly have is Mr. Taysom
This
Hill.
guy.
He had the most rushing attempts in this game. He is a quarterback. He is a tight end. Are we Sleeper needs to list him as just quarterback, running back,
Every
wide receiver,
single
tight end.
position.
I might as well just put him as a kicker at this point too. While you're at it, I mean,
Mhm.
he had the most rushing attempts. He had 10 attempts. I do want to note though that those 10 attempts, he had only 17 yards. That was
He's not
1.7 yards per
good.
carry. He can be good. He's just up there in age. He's like what, 30, like 45 now? I think he's like
I don't know.
33.
To talk about your pick, I actually don't hate it as much as I was making fun of it a couple minutes ago. The good thing is he's a rookie, so the legs are fresh. I think he actually kind of reminds me of Kamara. Maybe it's just the fact that, you know, they give him 7 targets as a running back, but that's always a good thing for fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully you see more of that. He's going up against Miami next week, which is obviously a great matchup
Very good.
for him. So that's good. Yeah, I mean, Taysom Hill is the Wicked Witch of the West. I mean, he's been a pain in my side for years now as a Kamara fan, as a Kamara owner, at some points over the last like 5-ish years or so. So it, you know, doesn't surprise me that he's here taking carries again from Devin Neal. But in the games that he happens to be out, I am sure that Devin Neal will be a 20-plus point per game guy, as long as obviously Kamara is out as well.
Yeah, I can easily see it. That's the thing. That's the good thing about it. I think this guy does have the potential to be a good running back, and if he gets the full workload, he can easily become that guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Devin Neal, Emmanuel Wilson, our top running back, waiver wire ads of the week. I do want to mention in the comments on YouTube, Dyslexic, I got to start 2 between Jameson Williams, Quentin Johnson, Alec Pierce, and Jaden Higgins. What do you guys think? I know Jameson Williams is, out of all of them, the number 1 to start. But I am bouncing between QJ and Jaden Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to hear your side. If you got any side, I'd probably lean more Jaden Higgins just for more upside, because Quinn Johnson again got a lot of mouths to feed. He could be wide receiver 1 this week. He could be wide receiver 12 this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with Jaden Higgins just due to the fact that he's been playing better. He's been more involved. I feel like, you know, we haven't seen a lot out of Quentin Johnson in the last 2 weeks. I mean, this last week, he was a no-show.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I don't know what happened there. I don't remember I don't exactly know what happened to him. Maybe he got hurt during the game, but if he didn't, then that's definitely not something that you want to see, having a goose egg after a full game of playing. So I'm gonna go with JMO and Jaden Higgins, and if you do as well, then yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's go into our wide receivers, and I'll start with my guy. And I mentioned he was the guy to watch out for in the receiving core of things in Jacksonville. And Parker Washington, he turned up 18.1 points, enough to beat Gary's team with the other opponent. But he is getting the starting role. Travis Hunter, of course, out for the year. Brian Thomas out this past week. Now, he could be a guy that we could see come back. Is that going to affect things? It could, but I do want to note that Parker Washington has had 17-plus points in 3 of the last 4 weeks. And if somehow Thomas is gone, I mean, this guy is a must start. But if Thomas is back, I think he becomes sneaky in value. But he would be probably a wide receiver 4 flex play if Thomas is back.
Yeah, obviously, like, Myers is there now, so that's a guy that you have to also look out for. But yeah, I mean, I was surprised to see him drop 18 points because I didn't expect him to do that. But of course, he does it against me. No surprise. I was feeling good when I saw Josh Allen only have 10 points this past weekend, and then, you know, I get absolutely obliterated by Parker Washington, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Emmanuel Wilson. So obviously, three players that are top 5 at their position. No, but Parker Washington is a great pickup. Still out there in almost half the leagues. So I would say, run to get him. Thomas could be back this week, but obviously Hunter's done for the year, and Jacoby Myers just got there. So I already mentioned him, but he's probably still figuring out the playbook and stuff. So I definitely see Parker Washington being a guy that can put up 15 plus points, as long as he's the number 1 or 2 there in Jacksonville. So
yeah, excited to see if he can still keep that potential if Thomas has to miss time still. Gary, I love this next guy because I mentioned he was the guy to watch for, and you didn't believe me. Michael Wilson was your guy last week, so I think you need to finish the sentence. Ladies and gentlemen, let's light the torch on
Greg Dortch.
Yes, sir.
I mean, let's just get the one thing straight. I would still have Michael Wilson be my pick if he was not 81% owned, because he had 22 points last week for 55 points in the last 2 weeks. So he would still be my guy if he was under 70% owned, but he's 81% owned now. So I physically can't go get him. He is definitely the wide receiver 1 right now with Brissett at QB. But like I mentioned, I mean, Brissett isn't shy about sharing the ball. Wilson, McBride, and Dortch are all contributing really nicely to fantasy in the last couple of weeks. The last weeks, like I said, Michael Wilson's got 55 points. Trey McBride's got like 40. Greg Dortch is 35. So that's wide receiver 1 numbers right there, 17.5 points a game for the last 2 weeks. Obviously, it's a small sample size, but with Brissett playing, I think he's a guy that you could plug in at your flex and feel pretty confident about having a 15-point week. So, I think it's a guy that you got to go out and get right now. He's only at 20% owned. Marv still has no update on his return, like we mentioned. So as long as that is, kind of a cloudy situation, then the other 3 guys, Greg Dortch, McBride, obviously McBride's owned. And like I said, Wilson is owned right now. But Dortch, I'd throw in that trio and say these guys are all must starts going forward.
Yeah, I think for instance, like until Marv, like you said, comes back, these guys all can easily have great weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I like that you included my guy, Mr. Dortch, this week.
I actually just noticed we each picked a receiver for the other person's quarterback waivers for this week.
That's so funny. That is so funny. Hey, that means we have potential for our waiver wire quarterbacks.
Yeah, sure.
And I guess if they ball out, that means our wide receivers could ball out too.
Yeah.
Parker Washington, Greg Dortch, our waiver wire wide receivers. Let's go into the final one, the tight ends. And you would think that me picking Parker Washington, I wouldn't pick any other receiving side for Jacksonville. So you might see this as maybe a strange type of pick. But ladies and gentlemen, it ain't no strange pick because Mr. Brenton Strange is the tight end 1 on that team. Trevor Lawrence loves to throw like to his tight ends. Like I said to Gary's take with Trevor Lawrence, I mean, you can't forget about this guy. And even if Brian Thomas comes back, Brenton Strange, I would say, is the wide receiver 2 behind Brian Thomas. That's why I said Parker Washington would be a sneaky value because he could be a wide receiver 2 that week. But Brenton Strange is, I would put as wide receiver 2 between these 2. I do want to note, yes, he did miss a lot of the season, but he is yet to find the end zone. So I would not be surprised if it is this week he finds the end zone.
Yeah, I picked him up before he got injured, and he was pretty solid. Like, I feel like he was one of our waiver wire pickups for a couple weeks, I feel like. So it's nice to see him back here again when he's healthy. Obviously, you mentioned Trevor Lawrence loves peppering his tight ends, so that's no different here at Brenton Strange. So I had nothing else to say. I think he's a great addition and probably would be mine if you didn't have him here.
Ooh. That's what we like to hear. But again, for someone who's going to watch the Browns game, he's going to have all the hype in the world. Gary, who is your waiver wire tight end? And
Well,
Joku?
no. He is there too, which is crazy to see because he's usually a top like 7, 8 tight end, but hasn't been that this year. I went with Harold Fannin this week. I think that there are a lot of solid options out there on the waiver wire. All guys that could go for 10 to 15 plus points. Otten's out there. Schultz is still out there, who had a dud week, by the way, which is why he's not my guy 3 weeks in a row. But I went with Harold Fannin for 2 reasons. One is Shedeur had some of his best plays when targeting Fannin. There were 2 plays in specific where he just dumped it to him in the flat for like a 1-yard gain, and he ended up turning it one play into 10 yards, another play into 15. So he's a yak monster, and I love watching him play. They play him as a wide receiver, and like I've been saying all year, him and Njoku can coexist, although they don't both get these gaudy numbers. But like I said, they play Fannin as a wide receiver and Njoku as the more traditional tight end. So they're always on the field together. It's not necessarily one is throwing off the other. But the second option, or the second reason, is I think he's just going to be the reliable security blanket for Shedeur. Shedeur coming in, he's only played 6 quarters, and he's targeted Fannin, I believe, 8 times. So, not a ton, but he also hasn't thrown a lot. So I think Harold Fannin is going to be probably his top option forward. And if Shedeur can get in a groove, like I hope he will, then I think it's going to be through Harold Fannin.
Yeah, I can see your take on it. Again, it's really no one has emerged as the clear-cut wide receiver 1 there or receiver there. So it could be Harold Fannin this week. It could be Cedric Tillman. It could be Jerry Jeudy. I mean, there's a lot of upside. We did see Shedeur balling, so I mean, there is a possible upside chance with Shedeur there. Don't want to say that all that much because then Mr. Gary will be like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Listen, who would win in a QB battle? J.J. McCarthy or Shedeur Sanders?
Oh, Shedeur Sanders.
I know, yeah.
But, I mean,
yeah.
You know what? Regardless, the fact that you have to ask that is funny because JJ went 9th overall or something like that, 11th overall in.
Right, but that's a different story. That's a different story.
Okay, no, we'll see. I mean, obviously, they're both technically JJ's not a rookie, but he's in his first year of playing, and Shedeur Sanders is a rookie, so both of them have a lot of ball ahead of them, hopefully, and we'll see when the time comes, or we can debate them. But yeah, I'm excited to see. Hopefully, I can see Shedeur throw that wrist up this weekend.
Yeah, very true. Brent Strange, Harold Fannin Jr., our top tight ends of the week. And ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday night football. But it is not just Thursday night football this week. It is Thanksgiving week. So that means we don't have 1, we don't have 2, but we have 3 games. And that just means that this season is all but closed in our predictions. Going over the overall records, Gary is doing pretty good. He won, he keeps winning. He likes to win. Somehow wins the over-unders and somehow stays with only 2 losses in the over-unders. He is 19-5 overall. I'm 14-10. So this is something that will be big for me to come back. Or if I can't come back, it might be wraps based on how I'm going.
Well, we have 3 great games, in my opinion.
Yep.
I feel like we usually see the Bears here. And, I mean, they're great this year, but, they're normally not a great team. So don't have to watch them again. That's kind of nice. Although they are, like I said, having their best year in a while. But we got 6 teams, pretty good teams. Packers, Lions, Chiefs, Cowboys, Bengals, Ravens. I'll start it off. For the Packers-Lions game, I'm going to go with the Lions. I think they're going to get their revenge from week 1. I'm going to say they win it in a tight one. We probably expect to see the Lions have a great offensive game, but, 2 good defenses going at it. I'm going to go Lions 23-20, hitting the under by 5.5 points.
Okay. Well, I should go based on your prediction with the over-unders and your current track record with it, but I'm taking the over. I am taking the Lions. I was debating about taking the Packers, but Lions are at home. It's a NFC North matchup. I'm in
Yep.
favor of the home team, and the Lions. They should win this, and if they don't win this, we can start questioning their playoff run potential.
Yeah, I mean, they need to win it. So, I mean, both these teams need to win it. So it's going to be a good one, I think, and that's kind of why I went with the under. I think it's going to be a gritty game. Like I said, we expect the high-flying Lions offense to, do what they do usually, but two tough, gritty teams with good defenses battling it out. I think it's going to be a classic NFC North showdown. So I can see, some offensive greatness and some defensive greatness. So.
I can't disagree with you on that. Kansas City Chiefs at the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to take my pick first, and I was bouncing between them, but I am going to take the Dallas Cowboys on this one. Take the Cowgirls. America's team. And in fact, 52.5, I believe, is a very high spread. So I'm going to actually take the under. 27-24, the final score. It would put that at 51. So just hitting the under.
I don't think it's a high total at all. I think it's two of the best offenses going at it on Thanksgiving, and I'm going to go with the Chiefs, not the Cowboys, because we all know the Chiefs are going to sneak into the playoffs, and to do that, they have to win. So I'm going to go Chiefs win 31-27, hitting the over.
That's three total differences in this week so far.
Yep.
Gary, Cincinnati Bengals at the Baltimore Ravens, another 52.5. How are we feeling?
Yeah, I think we're both going to agree here. I'm going to say it's the Ravens over. I'm expecting an AFC North showdown. If the Bengals come out and win, it would not surprise me at all, especially with Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase will probably go for 200-plus yards and 2 touchdowns like he always does against Baltimore's weak secondary. But we have 2 trash defenses, 2 great offenses. Ravens and Lamar really haven't looked like that offensive powerhouse recently. I'm expecting them to come back against the Bengals and, like I said, give us a great AFC North classic. So I'm going to go the Ravens, 33-30, hitting the over.
Yeah, like you said, again, this could flop to the Bengals as well. I mean, with the division matchup, it could go either side, but I can't go against the hot hand. Lamar Jackson's back. They're on a 5-game winning streak. I mean, you can't go against them right now. I believe that they're the hottest team right now in the NFL, and they're the team to beat. So I'm taking the Ravens 31-28, taking the over. Yeah, I mentioned about how the Ravens are, I would say right now, Super Bowl favorites on the AFC side, in my opinion.
That is kind of crazy. I don't know how much you've been watching them, but their offense has not looked great.
Lamar their offense is great. I'm just saying they're making sure that they're winning games. Their defense kind of has held them a little bit. And that's what's kind of helped them. The offense still getting in the rhythm with Lamar Jackson being back. I don't know. I think they're the team to beat. Even my Patriots.
We'll see. I can't say that they're the team to beat when in the 4 games that Lamar's come back, the highest amount of passing yards he's had is 204. And Derrick Henry,
he's not a passer. He's a runner.
Oh, he's definitely both. And that is another thing that I'm glad you brought that up because he has not been running a lot.
But I'm glad he's not running a lot because he shouldn't be putting himself at risk again.
Maybe, but that's his game. So I'm kind of surprised to see that he hasn't been really playing his game recently. And they kind of struggled. I mean, they won 23-10 against the Jets. I would argue that that's struggling. But whether you'd argue that's struggling or not, they did struggle against the Jets for at least the first 2.5 quarters. So we will see.
Yeah, we will very much see.
Definitely struggle against the Browns too.
Yeah, that's true. We have 3 differences. If somehow, someway I sweep the board, I would come within 2. Puts me right back in it. If somehow you sweep, I think it's all but over. I would have to literally go against every single one for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But hey, Can't. We'll see. We'll see. Gary, before we end off the show, I need you to pick a number 1 through 11 to close out the show.
Let's go with lucky number 10.
10. Okay, 10 it is. Gary, you know what we're opening today?
What do you got?
Well, you could think maybe Don Russ. Could maybe think Mosaic. I've mentioned those two before. Guess what I found at the store? Topps Chrome Baseball.
Whoa, there you go.
$5. $5.50 per pack. I think someone just wanted some like a pack or two from the box, and what they do is they put the individual packs in like an individual pack where you can get it. And I said, "Oh, I'm gonna take this." I actually took all of the packs that were left that were available because I've been there so many times. I've never seen it before. Have any of it? So Isaac Paredes, nothing crazy. I'll just go this way. John Birdie, nothing crazy. Again, base cards. We do have 2 colors, I will say, and I think one of them might be gold. And if I'm correct, the gold would be
2025. Oh, really? Oh, it's not like
it could be 2020. It's not NBA. It's not the stupid NBA thing that they do.
Oh no, but they do that at like Top Series 1 and stuff like that.
That's true. So, that's true.
I don't know.
Armando Alvarez on the rookie. Paxton Schultz on the rookie. Andrellis Chaplin for the Red Sox. Don't mind that. Lumber Kings, Athletic Ride Star Power Athletics. Again, nothing too crazy, but we're getting to the good ones. Brooks Lee, little rookie card. Little Brooks Lee rookie card. He was a baller for my MLB The Show. This is my guy. I met him. Zach Veen for the Colorado Rockies. Met him when he was in Double-A. When he was in Double-A.
Oh, what the okay, gotcha.
Carlson Palmquist, also from the Rockies. Never saw him ever. I will skip the gold and go to the other rookie, Matthew Lugo. I don't know if this actually is, but I'm going to go anyways. Oh, it's a 1990 type of throwback. 1989, Jeff Bagwell, first baseman.
Good player.
Wow.
Astros.
A little silver on that, a little hollow. Not numbered, I do not believe. No, it is not. And then to close it off, Junior Caminero on the silver All-Star game. On the silver.
Oh boy.
Yeah, can't go wrong. It's actually a better pack, I would say. I will say out of all these, we only got 2 base cards. 12.
That's nice.
12 cards.
That's
it's a hobby. It's a hobby, so that's why I got it. That's why I managed to get it. But that's going to close it out for this week's show. Thank you all for watching here on Sports Time HQ. Again, don't go anywhere. Make sure to hit that follow button. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to do whatever you can on whatever platform you're watching it on. Come and support us. Again, we'll be doing some sports breaks, some sports packs openings as well. A little side thing that we're going to be doing and maybe transitioning to. Who knows? Again, go follow Gary all over social media at GDPicks. And I'm Fernando. I'm your host, Sports Time HQ. We're going to see you on Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Gary will not be joining us, but it is our Starts and Sits show. And again, we're here every single Tuesday as well at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Gary, good luck. Hopefully your Browns end up finally winning a game that you can watch.
Well, they just won on Sunday, so
I will go against them, given that you are going.
That would be
based on your track record.
That would be the smart choice.
Yes. Thank you all for watching here on Sports Time HQ. Again, I'm your host, Fernando. Joining with me today is my great co-host, Gary. You can go follow him all over social media.